Hello, back at the Single Malt Review as we're back into some delicious New Zealand whiskey from Waiheke, kindly provided by our friends at that fine distillery.
Yes, indeed. Right, let's tuck into the next one. I wonder if I can do it with the power of the camera. Ooh, what's happening?
Tasty pack 3, whiskey number 2.
Which is Dyad.
Oh yeah.
We have looked at Dyad
Quartet.
before, but this is a new spruced up version.
It's like they heard about me and my whiskey preferences and decided to treat me. As the name Quartet implies, there are 4 elements to this fella, and that is for 4 kinds of casks. This whiskey is single malt, from ale malt and distiller's malt, so a bit of variety there already, and it's been matured for up to 7 years, 2018 to 2025, in Chardonnay, Port, Muscat, and Australian Apera, which is, say, more or less sherry casks.
That's quite the mix.
Yeah.
And it certainly shows it in the colour. That's not just a dark whiskey, that's quite a brown whiskey. That's quite a... that's
Dark
quite
red
a
amber
deep
is the description in the tasting notes.
It doesn't have that redder tint you get from sherry so much as that's a real tawny going on in there.
Yeah.
Okay, so that word is
No peat this time,
is right there.
which is a rarity for Waiheke now.
Increasingly, they are the new direction from Waiheke, which you can hear there. Stillman Patrick talk with me about in our interview. I will link in the comments if you want to have a look at that one. Peat is very much the new direction from Waiheke. They've always done peated whiskey, but they are really, really steering to focus on it as their principal style. So they're not going to leave unpeated completely behind, but anticipate seeing more and more peated Waiheke in the future. So yeah, all right.
I'm looking at some of the stats here, and these are impressive numbers based on my comparatively limited knowledge of the technical aspects of distilling. So it matured, it fermented rather for 7 days, a fairly quick ferment as you do for whiskey, but came out of it at 8.27% ABV. So that's a strength of a very strong beer.
Yep.
After only a week.
That's actually a pretty long ferment.
Yeah,
some ferments will get banged out in about 48 hours.
A few days and only 2 or 3 ABV.
Yeah.
ABV?
Oh no, definitely. I'm raking through my technical distilling knowledge, but the your wash will typically, you want that coming out between sort of 7 and 10. Typically you wouldn't want to come out any lower than that, because then you're just needing that much heat, more heat needed to heat that thermal mass. So you want it pretty strong, and then that's the start of your process, and then you've got your low wines, and then coming back to me, but so they'll be what's atypical there is just how long they're letting it ferment. So first nosing of that aroma, I thought this was going to be an interesting whiskey. In the space of those few minutes of shakily describing our production knowledge, this is a now explosively aromatic whiskey. It has caught the wind, and it is at full sail here.
Never smelled a whole fresh nutmeg up close, ungrated.
Yes, indeed. There's a whole
citrus, like a clove-studded lemon, an old Christmas standby.
It's definitely doing it with the spice. Clove and nutmeg, absolutely. There's cinnamon in here as well.
Sultanas in a Christmas plum pudding. The nosing notes we have here are Christmas cake, spice, and citrus peel, and
fruitcake, marzipan.
I'm not getting the marzipan, but
it's the sort of almond oil. That's that horrible, just there for show. That really has pretty got a special name in baking. That really thick icing.
Oh, fondant.
Yeah, fondant something. That's always vaguely sweet, vaguely marzipan flavoured, and always horrible, and very, very firm, and usually inside there'll be a fruitcake or something that you actually want to eat, and so you're just sort of supposed to peel it off and leave it somewhere. I don't know, but I'm getting a bit of that energy from it. But boy, what should not be understated is just how concentrated the aroma is. It's like a wall of aroma that just smacks straight into the olfactories. It really is.
Being in the southern hemisphere, we are heading towards both Christmas and summer. So thanks to a mix of cultures we have here, that's a wonderful blend of the traditional spices and fruit and other what we think of as cold weather dishes with all the warmth and jollity and levity of the summer months. So, and that's combining all that together in the glass.
Now that's a very interesting palate.
Oh,
that ale malt immediately apparent.
Wow.
I'm getting think back to Starwood's single malts where they used, I think, almost entirely beer, brown malt. That is very, very evident from the first sip there. There's a real grain and crunch to it and a real toast to the barley.
There's a lot of very fresh, sappy wood flavours too, which I think maybe the Chardonnay cask, a lighter white wine, one of New Zealand's classics now, as well as the richer, darker flavours from the port wood and other of like what. And Muscat is a very sweet fortified wine, isn't it?
Yes, tends to be. It can be made in different styles, though. The liqueur Muscat that they make in Australia is real thick, treacly. Think PX sherry almost. Is probably the closest analogue to that stuff.
And Apera, the Australian name for what would have previously been called sherry, is very similar to its original Spanish counterpart.
Never tasted, never even encountered Apera.
Stuff,
it just doesn't seem to make the trip. So a little bit of water, and that makes that really juices the aroma.
Yeah, a whole like someone squeezed a fresh lime into my mouth.
That really gets
Big
that sort of
citrus.
orange citrus going, which I think to its benefit. Not that it needed any extra moving parts, but it doesn't hurt for having one more. Very, very juicy fruit.
The tasty notes speak of dried fruits, caramel and spice, and all of that and more, I'd say. I like the way just there's a distinct woodies or wood chip element to it too.
It has
Not
taken
as
on
just
a
the
lot
casks
of
and those
wood.
flavours, but it's got a lot of the flavour of wood. If that's probably not very useful as a note, but
it's taken on a lot of wood, such that I would be slightly hesitant to let some of the casks in here go much further. I think this has been bottled at the right time. It's probably the Chardonnay. Those naughty wine casks tend to they can get away on you if you don't keep them under pretty close watch. But it's certainly not getting out of control. This one is very difficult to compare with anything else. Largely, I think, because of that ale malt aspect and just what it does to it. The only point of comparison I have is the Starwood single malt, which not a lot of people will have tasted. So this one really lacks a comparison. It's quite a unique whiskey. If you are considering this one, be ready for something different. This is not your average sherry whiskey. It's not your average anything whiskey, really. So if you're thinking about this one, be ready to explore.
Glen Murray, for a comparison, does produce a single malt which is finished in Chardonnay casks, and that has an intense hit of that sort of slightly tangy, quite woody flavour to it. But this has been matured for a certain amount of its lifetime, not just finished, but it's had some of its primary maturation in a Chardonnay cask, and it really shows.
Yeah. So the verdict, I think this is going to be one of those scores that hits a little bit different across the table. You can sort of see those whiskies coming sometimes. This one, for me, I really enjoy it. I think it's just a little bit out of balance. There's so much going on. It's a little bit... cantankerous is the name of one of their other whiskies. But that's sort of how I describe it. There's just a little bit of... It's a little loose, lacks a little focus for me. So it gets an 82 from me. What do you think? How's it engaging?
Rather higher. This is, like I say, it's almost like it's designed to cater to my preferences and biases. It's full of all the richness and sweetness of those fortified wine casks, with a bit of some curly differences because of the Chardonnay cask being so abundant. So it's got novelty as well as some old favourites all brought together in just a big flavour. And it's an easy 92 for me.
There you go. Thought that was going to happen.
One of my favourites of the year to date, I'd say.
So yeah, that's it is a whiskey that is going to hit different for different palates. But yeah, like I say,
hit my shelf when I finally find some in the store.
Yes, indeed. I think it is. I think most of these are broadly available. The single casks will not be, but by and large, although Waiheke does sell out pretty fast, so you'll just have to see what they've got available.
That's every Dyad for Waiheke has been a winner so far, and it is a trending upwards.
As the scores bear out, it is a Dave whiskey for sure.
Yeah.
All right, onwards and upwards. I'm not sure which one's up next, but we will find out when you do very, very soon. Slijo, we will be right back.